right, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. It's the afternoon here for us in beautiful San Francisco. With the one and only Peter Deltondo, everybody. Oh, welcome, Peter! Hey. Good to see everybody. Felicia, Voodoo Val, of course, Daniel, Claudia, fantastic. The gang's all here. Yeah. So this is really fun. How was day one for you?
It was a lot of fun.
Good times?
Yeah.
Good. So much to talk about, so much to cover, and this is going to be really fun. So yes, you do have Peter and Paul here. Mitch, thanks for pointing that out. We'll get the party started. So the contest's still going on. You can always select that contest tab right behind chat, otherwise known as challenge, but essentially you can kind of read about his bio. I want to brag about you for a sec, because I don't even think this happened enough yesterday. Do you mind? Can I be just your hype man? Because I know you also redid your site too as well.
Yes,
so anyway,
you guys forced me to.
Yeah, is that okay?
It's totally good. When you're not job hunting, you neglect your portfolio for years.
You do, and I don't know if I trust people. If your portfolio is too up to date, I'm like, are you not working enough?
Yeah.
What's the deal there? So yeah, Hisham, good to see you. Welcome. But in general, this might be good inspiration if you are diving into the challenge. Can I just see your work, obviously, right up here, peterdeltondo.com, and scroll through his work, which might even include this Flix feed, which is fun. Again, today's challenge is all about sort of creating a dashboard. That's kind of similar to what this is. Essentially, you kind of can load up all the content right here, but this is probably a fun project anytime you're working in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, this is actually the one fake project that I have. I just thought it would be cool that if you could theoretically dive into an app that would connect with your friends and see what it is they're watching on Netflix and Hulu, so you don't spend 10 hours trying to figure out what to watch.
That is so true.
It would be really cool, and so you'd be like, oh, my friends are watching Deadpool. I'd probably like that movie. Let me go watch that.
That's what's missing. That's what I want in Netflix.
Yep.
I seriously want that. Actually, even Spotify has that down the side. It's shows what your friends are listening to.
Yep.
I totally want to spy on my friends.
I would build this, but there's closed APIs.
Let's build this.
Yeah.
Build a dashboard
Netflix
that will
or Hulu
have a
if
social.
You're watching. Let's do it.
Yes. Netflix, Hulu, you out there? Mr. Netflix, Mr. Hulu, or Mrs. Hulu. But in general, that's his site. Check out his work, because you can get inspiration from it. Attack on Titan? Ooh, that is in there. So Voodoo Val is a big, I don't know, sci-fi. I don't know. She just she dabbles in all sorts of areas. And
you can tell what I've been watching lately.
So this is what you've been watching lately. Yeah. I don't know if I want people to know what I'm exactly listening to or watching. Because I would like to think it's full of documentaries, but it's not. It's a lot of Family Guy and Arrested Development and dumb stuff, but it's all good. So yeah, man, this is fun. And you're based in, or at least in Orange County, right? Okay. Yep. So you end up with some of these projects, I'm sure, around the entertainment industry potentially, or
yeah, a little bit. Some of that's popped up before and worked in some of that space. And
yeah, very cool. Anyway, so check out his site. There's obviously plenty of others. I really like this interaction you have going on as I roll over any one of these images. It does this tilt. See this large one? Again, if you don't love that, then I mean, come on, that's amazing. So anyways, really cool. So check out his website. I also want to see what you've been doing the past day since I wasn't here yesterday.
Yeah.
So
let's dive in. All right, cool. So let's catch everybody up. So if you didn't tune in yesterday, what I'm building is a parent's guide to Disneyland app. So we wanted to cover some things like if you are planning out your trip, how many kids you might be bringing to the park with you, what their favorite rides or movies or characters are. So we have a little profile builder here. We've wired this out. We'll hopefully get to some design of this. And then being able to navigate through the park and see different rides, characters, shows, what the wait times for these things are, and being able to build a favorites list. We want to give some general tips and tricks, things like how you can get into the park an hour early or something like that. And then what we started doing yesterday was building out some character screens. So if I wanted to come see Mike and Sully, I'll find them here on the map and go into their profile. And what I was doing yesterday, and one of the things I wanted to touch on for everybody in terms of how user experience and product design really works is that, you know, a lot of it is trial and error, and it's do something, sleep on it, and then realize it doesn't work at all, which is kind of what happened yesterday. So I started going through this, and I noticed that there were some holes in some of the information that we had. So, you know, we ran into problems like if your merchandise was at multiple locations, if you had a lot of different times that the characters come out, we ran into issues like this where we started to run out of room on the screen. We had to shift into iconography, but what if they're out at 5 different times? And so shortly after the stream ended, I started to think through this and see, hey, how could we solve this problem differently? And so I started introducing, I was playing around with it when you caught me at lunch, where what if we had these little cards that still allow us to get all the beautiful imagery of these characters, because I feel like that immerses you into the Disney experience, but then how can we display that information in a much more concise way? And so that's kind of what we got started here, and we'll flush out a little bit today and make sure that carries through the rest of the areas.
And these screens right here, it's a different layout than the Big Hero 6, is that right?
Yeah, so that's kind of where I was starting, and it would be the same thing, but I wanted to shift into something that, since Big Hero 6 doesn't have a ride yet, like how would we showcase characters like Mike and Sully that do have a ride that can be seen around the park, and see if that solution worked there, because that's kind of the largest use case scenario that covers all the bases. So if I know it works there, I know it'll work on this solution.
Yeah, that is good. So Johnny loves the shadow behind the card and the depth. So I think some of those the Monsters Inc. screens, really cool. Anita Lima, good to have you here. And I really do like these as well. And you know, you can tell that you're a seasoned designer just by how you use a drop shadow. Like seriously, like less is more. Yeah. And it just gives it a little bit of pop.
It is. You got to be really
careful. I assume there's a drop shadow right there, by the way.
Yeah, it's super subtle. I'll kind of share with you guys. These are the settings that I kind of really like. I'll usually drop the X about 10, Y around 30, and then I'll do like a blur of around 30 to 40.
Okay.
And then I like to use an opacity on that anywhere between like 18 to 16, maybe 24 if it's like a hover effect.
If you're feeling crazy?
Yeah. But any more than that, it kind of just looks like things are blown out.
Yeah, I agree. And so I think you're right. And somebody does mention it's easy to screw up a drop shadow. Like, I think that's true. And I think even some of the defaults, say in Photoshop back in the day, it kind of, you go through styles. Because I remember in the like 90s, you know, as soon as we add a feature, people will like exploit that, like overuse it. You know, so a lot of even the defaults sometimes are not good. And this is super subtle in terms of the way you do it. So that's awesome. I love we could talk about Disney movies all day long.
We definitely could.
We could talk about what Disney princess you are. Do we know this?
I don't think.
I haven't taken the test.
My daughter and I have to sing the Frozen songs a lot, and so she'll lock me in the bathroom and say, "Daddy, you're Elsa," and then we have to take turns singing parts. So
we have an Elsa here.
I think I'm Elsa.
Hey,
sometimes I'm Anna, but you know.
Okay, I'm into it. I'm into it. I love it. So this is really good. So this does look like a real project. And somebody does also mention, I know who said that, about like having characters run out and steal buttons. And it's like you do need to keep the goals in mind, right? Because this is for the parents, right?
Right.
Okay, so like you probably want to minimize the fun stuff. I mean, you still want to make it enjoyable for the parents.
Totally.
But
yeah, I mean, I think you still need to make it like a magical Disney experience, but the thing is that we don't have to carry that like perfection voice through everything, you know, because like we want to take our kids to Disney, we're big Disney fans, like I still want to feel like everything is fun and exciting for me, but I want to get some like real information about things.
You know what's fun at Disneyland for adults is not waiting in line for 2 hours. That's 2 hours, and that's the goal of this.
Yeah, that's
like,
the thing.
Please don't have me stand there with a whiny kid. I love children, don't get me wrong.
And that's exactly what kind of started this idea is as my wife and I were planning our trip, we wanted to know like, hey, the Cars Raceway or Mater ride at Disneyland, there's lots of cool artwork on the wall. So even if you're stuck in line for 30 or 40 minutes, your child's probably going to be entertained by artwork and things to look at or animatronics. Is it inside, outside? Are you stuck in the heat of the day, or are you inside in air conditioning?
Yeah.
Is the ride a minute and a half long, or is it 14 minutes long? Because I want 14 minutes of entertainment and quiet. So that's the kind of stuff that we have to think about.
I like it. And this brings up like so many different questions as well. So first off, like I think Alexander brings up a good question. We could talk about like name a website with a perfect UX. I don't know if there is a website of perfect UX, but I do want to like hear people like tell me what apps or websites have really good UX, because I like the idea of what people are using and what people enjoy. You know, so that's my question for everybody. If you enjoy a certain user experience, either on an app or on a website, let us know, because I think it will help as we start to build this out and everyone else.
And that's the thing, you gotta like immerse and be familiar with different apps and websites, and like go experience those things. We talked about this yesterday in case you guys weren't on the stream. Like be familiar with things and have it in the back of your head, but don't directly be referencing things, because then you will unintentionally or maybe intentionally copy or steal, rather than go, oh, I've seen something like this before, I know I want it to do this kind of thing, and then you put your own creative twist or solution on it. And maybe if you happen to get the right or the same thing, and that helps solidify that, hey, this is really the best way to do it. I didn't have something next to me and copy it. Like, this is just the way I would have solved that problem.
Yeah. Kevin says he feels like everybody uses UI kits like a puzzle and doesn't really think about the UX anymore. So you're right. It's not like putting pieces together. Maybe for the challenge that we're having today, sure, piece some things together, but you know, think about your goals at a sort of higher level. So
it's a good foundation, but you still want to customize and you know, modify things to fit your direct need. Yeah,
no, that's good. Somebody's asking where you got some of the navigation from. Looks like you. I can't really scroll up. But where did you get some of these elements?
So these I got, if I come here, recent, let's see, right through, or actually here, let's do it this way. If you just open up the window here, there's UI kits at the bottom. So they've got Apple iOS, Google Material, Microsoft Windows, and more. So I went and got the Apple iOS one the other day. And through that, you know, obviously it's got all your assets here. But what I wanted out of this screen was really things like I wanted the status bars, I want the home indicators. And I like to design with that kind of stuff in my design, because yes, it looks prettier without it. But the reality of the situation is when you actually create something, it's going to be there, and you need to know how to account for it and you know, make sure that it does work with your design. So I like to throw that stuff and just like lock it in the background in all my designs.
Totally. And that's good. I mean, you could use those UI kits. It's not a puzzle that you piece together. Like, you don't want these kits to be a hindrance. For the challenge, you have your own, or there's one that you could download. I'll open that up. You can see it right here. So this is the dashboard UI kit that you've probably been checking out all day today. So you just switch to my screen. That'd be fantastic. Sweet. So here they are. Command 0. We can see them all. So yeah, this is just another place to kind of get you up and running quickly. You can see right in here, there's like a lot of these. And I know you use like the Noun project too. Is that what you're using?
I mean, I use everything. I got Noun project, Icon Jar, Orion icons, Nucleo. You know, depends on the project what you need.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And that's the whole thing. It's like, why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
If you could make it so it matches the brand of Disney or whatever else.
Right.
So use it as a starting point probably, and then just kind of see where it goes. So free stuff. Matthias, what's up, buddy? Good to have you here. I'm just happy to be here. I feel like I've had too much coffee today. All right, you take over.
Awesome.
I'm gonna try to calm down.
So one thing I wanted to show too, can we use the GoPro camera at all?
Oh yes.
Awesome.
Might need to give us a second to
we'll take a minute. But I've got XD connected over here on my phone. And so what I like to do with that is just be able to see my design as I'm going. And I think this is particularly important for mobile designs, because I want to be able to see what it does look like, you know, I might be able to read the text on my laptop screen, but I really want to be able to make sure that everything is readable here, and you know, I can update things here live on the fly. So if we come over here and just
let me hold this up because I love this. Because as you change them, right?
Right.
There we go.
Yeah. So here, I'll delete. Let me see the fast pass here. I could delete that, and it instantly mirrors over here on my design. And so what's cool too is that we can come here and now scroll through this and just see what that whole experience is like. And so I can see here now, if you zoom out just a little bit, so I can see I like this a lot. I get an immersive experience up top here with the characters. I immediately get kind of what I want to be a call to action here of using my fast pass. And I can see things like, okay, attractions, 45-minute wait, the roaming locations. And I know that because this is also falling down past the fold, there's more to see. And I come up here, I've got this section connected. I used a very light gray line here or rule just to show that those appearances are related to roaming and meeting the characters. And then I see my merchandise, about, and so this to me feels really good. And you know, I feel pretty solid with how this is, and I feel like now I'm at a point where I can carry this through and maybe build out what a ride looks like, and some other things using this style within the app.
Yeah, love it. Easy, buttons seem to be a good size and everything. And you could just keep this running too, so you could just kind of set this here and watch it change as we work on it. So, yeah. Very cool.
And just so a couple other things that, just to make sure we mention that we are built into this as well from yesterday is obviously if I got here from the map, I need a back button in order to go back to that screen. And we talked about having like a favorite section here in this app. So I want to essentially favorite or bookmark this as well. So I've got this plus sign ribbon. I might change that to a star. I think I removed it earlier because I was testing using a star as an attraction. Since that is what the Disney app is, it feels very consistent. And what's up, Mark?
Do you know Mark?
I do.
What's up, Mark?
He's a huge Disney fan, has a ton of rad Disney art. You guys should also check that out.
Hey, Mark, what Disney character are you? If you had to be one, you get to pick your own.
I'm thinking it's something Star Wars.
I know, that's what Voodoo Val said her Disney princess was Kylo Ren. I don't know how that, but she's a big Kylo Ren fan. I just thought it was hilarious. So, again, this is just a recap. It is a Disney app for you're actually at Disneyland, specifically for parents. So again, short lines, that whole thing. We can talk about the back end. There's a whole thing about this. I think what would be also nice to see is like a community aspect, like you know, like almost like a message board, like having other people being able to comment on certain things. Because you as a developer, you could spend all this time, like how much functionality do you add versus the information you get from people who are using the app.
Right.
You know, is just kind of something interesting.
Well, and that's something I talked to my buddy Evan Place mentioned this the other day. If like we couldn't tap into the Disney API, that, you know, this could be built out more as like a Waze kind of app in terms of helping determine like ride times, like what the wait time is, what's kind of congestion or traffic in different parts of the app. So when you're developing stuff like this, I mean, I know I'm making this on the assumption that we could get that API, but you know, you need to think through those kinds of things and know what those solutions would be. So yeah, let's go in here, and what I want to create now is the screen of what this attraction, like if I clicked on this to get more information about it, what would that be like? And so we are going to, let's just drop all this stuff here, and I've got some stuff ready. Actually, hang on. Let's do it this way.
I don't know what a xenomorph queen. Greg, does anybody know what that is? The xenomorph queen? If Disney now owns Fox, my princess. I don't know. Anyways, to answer your question, Mohammed, by the way, third-party plugins. We started supporting them in the release that hit last month. So Zeppelin and Avocode are available on Mac. Windows version will be like, I typically just say coming soon, and I hate even saying those words. But you know, I think they're trying to develop things as fast as possible and will be coming to Windows. It's good to hear that you're interested in it, by the way. Oh, and speaking of updates, while you're doing that, you're just grabbing some images and stuff?
I am.
Okay, cool. Essentially, there was an update we had a couple days ago, actually on the 12th, night of the 12th. So we now support vector graphics and CC libraries, scroll positions preserved, Windows 10 touch support, view layout grids and design specs, which is beta now, and the eyedropper tools actually in the property inspector. So we've had like an update a couple nights ago. The biggest thing is like having vector assets in your Creative Cloud libraries, which would serve us well. So if we were working on a project, it's nice having, you know, if we were sharing a Creative Cloud library, we can pull from those same assets that are also vector.
All right, so here, I'm gonna do a different ride just so that this is a little bit different for us as we go here. So I'm gonna do Cars Land just so we get some new stuff to check out. And I might come in here, I'll modify our gradient to be Lightning McQueen, more themed. So we'll do something like this guy here maybe, and we'll see how that works. That might need some adjustment because that's a little funky here, but let's brighten that guy up.
Yeah, it's... Ook. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're all judging you based on your color choices.
I know.
Haha!
All right, maybe something in that range. All right, so we'll pull this guy up. Just create like a little mask here of our stuff.
People do like this design you're working on.
Thank you.
Some people want to steal it and maybe submit it to the contest as their own. Do you use any customer journey maps or some kind of templates to do stuff?
I do. I usually create that for larger projects. For purposes of this, I'm kind of diving into things a little earlier than normal, so we can see some more visual stuff here. But I do think it's really important on any kind of UX project to understand who your target audience is, and then even some kind of like outliers of people that might also be using the app. Because somebody could be using this that is both a younger parent, it could be a grandparent that's coming in here maybe who's not as tech savvy, and things like that. We might need to make adjustments to like font sizes or things of that nature.
Yeah, that is good. Luckily, you're the end user of this app is you.
It is,
which is nice because you're a father of two. You're taking the whole fam to Disneyland?
We're going in a couple of weeks.
Sweet. Do you go like every year? Like what?
No, actually, I just went in October with a bunch of friends at a design conference for the first time in like 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So it was super fun to be back, and I'm really excited to take the family now.
I don't want to get too personal, but like this for your kids, it'll be their first time, right?
It will be, yeah. So we've kind of been doing this kind of homework, and like we went onto YouTube and actually watched ride previews or like kind of point of view walkthroughs of it, because you know our daughter is a little younger than 3, and you know there are things that could scare her on rides, and the last thing you want to do is have some magical, amazing experience turn into, you know, your kid freaking out over something.
Yeah.
So we kind of wanted to see like, okay, what rides is the villain at, and is it something that's actually scary that we kind of need to like talk to her and prepare her for it?
Yeah.
Or can we just go and have a good time? So that's kind of stuff that we've been checking out.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. Is it the Indiana Jones ride? That's a Disney property, but that's a case where like it seems like your ride is breaking and stuff like that. And like as a child, I'd be like, is this thing breaking down right now?
Yeah.
You don't know if it's part of the ride. That would freak me out.
Well, like Pirates of the Caribbean, there's just 3 random drops, and the animatronics are a little spooky potentially for some people. So you know, it's things like that. That might not be the first ride we go on. We might do that later on in the trip. I don't know the actual name of this, but we'll call this the Cars Raceway Challenge.
Oh, I'd love to do a live stream from Disneyland. Can we do that, Francisco? Francisco says yes. He gives me the thumbs up. We're going next week. Field trip. I wish. Voodoo Valley, I've not been on the Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is my favorite. My favorite really movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I've not. I went down there. I did not go on the ride.
Oh, really?
Why is that?
So let's see. Let's make sure I'm consistent with some stuff. So I'm going to move the title back up here.
Yeah, you don't want to be scarred for life by taking your children on the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right?
Like,
So let's...
I kind of want to go on the Indiana Jones ride. I'm into it. Into it. All right. Kevin Worth, I don't know if you're pulling our leg when you say a pie and mash world in the UK. He's pulling our leg. All right. We always want to hear if it is your first time joining us, or maybe you've been watching and you've never typed something in the comments. We would love to hear you type something in chat to say, hey, what's up? Just curious if you'd like to go to Disneyland with Peter and his family. He said everybody's invited with him, so we can all kind of tag along. He's going to have everything mapped out by the number of YouTube videos he's watched. He's now building an app like to sidestep everything. So come along. We'll go with Peter. Yeah. So if you're new, Shauna, are you new? You may be at least today. That's cool. We like hearing about new people. Yes, thank you, Tim. If you are new, by the way, you can check out Peter's, just the info tab talks about you being just kind of, in general, fantastic, not only for your beard, but your skill in UX, UI, working for GoFundMe and plenty of other places, and just an in-demand guy. And there's the challenge tab to get your hands dirty with XD. But welcome, Kaylee. Kaylee's first time. I feel like we need some first time music, or I don't know, maybe that get annoying. We need like a little welcome banner.
Yeah.
Welcome. So this is actually Peter's first week. It's your first time here at Adobe.
It is.
Your first time in San Francisco.
This is like childhood bucket list item.
Check it off.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. So that's good, man. We hope you enjoy your time. We're going to have a random giveaway too in about 30 minutes just because we can. I brought up a big bag of goodies that hopefully we can, I don't know what we can do with, but maybe we can give away more stuff. We'll just see how it goes. You never know, essentially. And feel free, I'm just kind of talking, by the way. If you want to, you're digging up.
I'm pretty good at usually
research,
talking,
right?
but I'm trying to like grab descriptions of the ride and
good.
Not multitasking as well as I should be.
Yuzu, you have to get some sleep. What time is it there? I know you're leaving now. Maybe it's pretty late. It's probably later for Europe, and really late if you're diving into... Gosh, let me take a look. Okay, so... And by the way, just because you're going to bed, you can still keep this on. We'll use our we'll use our inside voices.
Yeah, we'll just soothe you to sleep.
Yeah. It's like the, what do you call that? SMRI? I don't remember the acronym, but I know somebody who listens to Sleep With Me is a podcast, and all it is this guy rambling about Doctor Who episodes, and he's like does awesome work. So keep us on. We'll use our inside voices. Yeah. Lull you. Hopefully, don't lull you to sleep actually, but oh yeah, 10:30, awesome. Holly Henry, it's your first day here. Haven't tried XD yet. Used a lot of the other Creative Cloud apps. Color coordination of the buttons and the monts. Oh, she really likes your color coordination you have happening.
Thank you.
I do too, man. It totally works. So if you have Creative Cloud, you have access to Adobe XD. You can also just download the trial and dive right in. ASMR, thank you. Imagine that. You're like, hey man, your voice really kind of like lulls me to sleep. You'd be really good at ASMR videos. I'm like, was that like a kind of like a backhanded compliment or what? Hafid's 4:30 a.m. That's what I'm talking about.
That's commitment.
That is commitment.
I'm up at that time. Thought I was the only one.
Even if you have it on the background, you're like picking up tips and tricks. And by the way, I love how you're doing these gradients, which they really like. I think it was Holly You have some of them saved in your assets panel.
Yep.
Which is nice. I like that. Oh, that's a good question. You have a question about for the web to do a button with different states, like hover, clicked. That's not really in the cards right now. That's not available in XD. Not to say that it's not a request.
Couldn't you create symbols that have?
Yeah, but you can't have a symbol over or down state yet.
Right, but even then you could create a symbol that is like focus, pressed, hover, active, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we do in our design systems, and that way we can just drag and drop each one as we need, and it's really awesome to do it that way.
Perfect. And what you could do is, like, you could have two screens that look exactly the same. The only difference is that one button changing in a way.
And so here what I'm going to do is, like, you have to be really cognizant when you are using things with, like, imagery, particularly when there's navigation or something like this. And so it works pretty well in the screen that I have, but you can see here at the top, the white icons could potentially get lost. Like if there was more clouds in that top right area, you wouldn't see anything. So what I'm going to do here is just create a gradient here. And so at the top of this, I'll bring this into like, excuse me, a black, and we'll have that at full opacity. And then when we come over here, we could do the black again, but I'm going to bring this down.
I'm not seeing it at all.
I might have it too far back. Let's see.
This is what's nice about the layers panel, is you can, you don't really need to use it, but when you lose something, you're like, oh, that's where it is.
Yeah. And so I'll just adjust this slightly, and I want it to be faint. I don't want to worry about this too much. And I'm weird, and I think my buddy Mike Jones ingrained this into me of like doing everything in 8s, even though I use an 8-point grid system anyways, but I'll do like 24, 32, etc. opacity. And happy birthday, Mike Jones, as well.
Happy birthday, Mike Jones.
And so that works. It's just enough that all of this is now a lot more readable, and I like how that looks there. So that might be something that we might put in development, that there's either a overlay on top of the image automatically, or we might just bake that into the images that are being used.
Yeah.
So that way it's a really easy addition.
Yeah, that is good. Who's Mike Jones? Is he
Mike Jones?
Is he British?
No, he's very Southern.
Got it.
Super awesome guy.
What? There's more than one Mike Jones?
Runs the Creative South Design Conference, and one of my best buddies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So yeah, Miguel, just to reiterate, this is the concept of this app is basically a Disneyland app geared toward the parents. Sidestepping lines, knowing where to park, what their kids are going to enjoy, but specifically for a Disneyland app for parents.
Yeah. So we've got a description down here, we've got our wait time, and then we talked about, like, we want this to be a little bit more real and raw. So, like, how do we do that? I still like the idea of having kind of the official description up here. We want people to know what it is. But now that we've given them their FastPass capability, let's change this to, let's see, wait time. We make that here, 45 minute wait time.
Yeah, David. Yeah, if you want to change are you talking about the opacity? Just select the object and hit 5 would give you 50% for opacity, if that's what you're going for. So basically, or 66%. 666 will like reformat your hard drive. Just joking.
All right, so now that we come here, what are some other things that we would want to have? So we might have, let's do kind of like a gallery section like this. So I'll just pull this over.
I like how when you select another artboard, it pastes it in place typically.
Yeah.
So.
It's nice because like apps like Illustrator, there is paste in place, but by default, your brain kind of just pastes and it ends up somewhere else. And so it's really good that does that, especially in UI stuff when you're trying to pay so much attention to where things are located and whatnot.
Here, if you just do a Command-C, Command-V, it pastes that on top, which is good, but sometimes you don't know that you just pasted it 4 times.
Yeah.
So
we'll come here. So let's show. This is just kind of funny. Let's do
Ooh, Kevin Schneider. That's a good idea. So you choose the rides that you want to go on, and it'll plan the perfect route for you.
Yes. That was one of the things that we talked about yesterday, that like you would pick your favorites or the rides that your family likes, and then perhaps that will create kind of like an agenda for your day, and things like, oh, right after you get off of this ride, does it say, hey, the Monsters Inc. ride is next door and there's a short line, why don't you hop in it? So doing things like that are just kind of smart about stuff. So
yeah, that is really cool.
Let's see.
Ooh, yeah, Johnny and Voodoo Valor talking about like notifications, of course, of rides down, and that sort of thing. So there's so much technology you can build into this. Miriam, you bring up a good point. Can you you want to be able to pin something and then have everything else scroll? So that's currently not a feature available, but it's top of the list because you want to. In this case, you want to pin the bookmarks and you want to pin stuff, and that's top of the list when we come to features. If you're curious about all those features, you can go to Provide Feedback under the Help menu, and you'll see that that's the top of the feature requests list.
All right, so we've got, let's say, parents' tips. And so this is where we can have our own, kind of language in terms of we don't have to be on that Disney magical brand, and, we can be a little bit more real with how we talk to people. So we might say something like this, where you'll have to wait outside on a hot day for this ride.
There's no umbrellas, or there's no, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're in, I don't know what that means. It's a direct sunlight line or something.
Lines. So make sure to stop by and grab some water from a vendor before you hop in line. While you may lose a few pounds of sweat, your kids will have a blast seeing all the memorabilia from Lightning McQueen on the walls through the line.
J. Mark Bowden says no shade.
Yep.
No shade.
All right, so we've got that, and then maybe we could do something else where we want to incorporate a video. So we talked about having YouTubers, which could also help promote this app. So maybe we want to incorporate a video as well. And so we'll bring this down a little bit more. We'll make our artboard longer. And, oops.
Okay, so let's see. Should that window be one where you see just the first part and click on it and see the whole message, or flip through messages? So she's wondering about previews as you get more messages, which is a good idea.
Previews as you get more messages for?
For these parent tips. What if there's 50 parent tips? Are you scrolling forever, or do you just get the first 2 lines?
Totally.
Is what Holly's saying.
Yeah. So that's a great example, and a lot of this stuff too for about. Let's do that real quick. So let's actually simulate what that looks like. So we might come here and say, so make sure you stop by, and we'll simulate that, and then we'll come up here And let's do read more. And let's bring that down maybe to, how does that look on the, okay. And then let's make that maybe our color over here. Yeah, so we basically have like a condensed view of this. That's a great point. So that way the person on the app can jump in here, expand these things out, and we might show something like there's multiple tips. It could just be one, as though like we've kind of authored it as the app itself. And then there could be sections where we've got lots more. And so let's do one like that. So let's do something here like maybe some videos.
Do the users get to add their own tips?
Yes, that's one thing I mapped out when I went over this with my wife, was like it'd be really cool to either let people submit tips or definitely have notes in there that like you could put of, hey, our daughter really loved this ride, we have to make sure we do this again. Or there was one part that like really terrified her, either don't go on it or like make sure to prepare her for that kind of thing. So that way it's something that is really usable for you as the family. And then things like adding tips, I would say that would be something that in this particular app I would roll out as like an updated version. I want to get people using this first. I want them to, you know, get comfortable and experience the app, and then kind of be more excited to like start to engage and contribute it to it from like a community standpoint. But that's kind of like another level of complexity too that could expand out the project scope and development. So I might push that to like a V2 kind of thing, an additional rollout.
Yeah. That's good. Stages too. Stages are always nice because like you do want them to get familiar with the app, and then it grows in complexity.
Right.
The more, you know, the more years it's out there, you know. So you do have 50 minutes for the challenge, and I'm gonna dive in and check out some of those entries right now, just see where they're at. Ooh, good call, Gabriel. How do you copy the style of other texts and layers? I don't know if you know this.
Actually, I don't know how to copy it. I know how to use a style. But...
So, yeah, just select any text element, do a right-click, copy. And then if you select something else, right-click, paste appearance.
Ah, okay.
And that's what it does. It does a paste appearance, so. Awesome. And conversely, you can also use the assets panel and save styles there.
All right, so.
Johnny Baruz has a good. I like he's like, you're gonna have a note that says, remember to put down your phone once in a while. You're at Disney.
Yeah.
What if that's Johnny's app?
But you know what?
You install it and all it says, you're at effing Disney. Put your phone away.
But you know what's really cool though is that with like the official Disneyland app or something like this, it's really nice to be able to simply like book your fast pass, especially for your party now, through that. So it's really, really handy. Like bring a Mophie and you're set for the day.
Yeah, that is cool. And by the way, as you're working, it's really fun to watch you work, and then we're watching the design change on your phone.
Yep.
Which is cool.
So I've got all this just to make sure that like what I'm building, you know, it tends to always look a little bit smaller on the phone, even though you're like at 100% on your computer. So it's nice to be able to see, you know, what that truly does look like, and make sure that, you know, it looks right to you.
So yeah, we can dive into that. I love how everybody's involved here. This is really good. So like, as you plan your trip, are you scheduling, like if you want to do a Monsters Inc. from 1 to 1:30, we could talk about that. Like, what's that look like next? But this is obviously, there's a lot going on here.
There is. Like, it was kind of funny as we were planning this out, and I let me pull up the document that has it. We were noticing that there is a ton of stuff that is involved in this. So this was kind of the initial scope that we mapped out. And, you know, there's everything as to, you know, connect your photo pass, your fast pass, have ride information, talking about things like, are there interactive or visual things to see, excuse me, height requirements, ride durations, and some of this I'm forgetting to put in as I design. So I gotta go back and reference this some more. But this is really, really robust. So we won't get all of this in you know, our 3 days, but there's so much that could potentially be built out with this, and it could become a tool that like really helps you plan your trip for tomorrow, or you know, just stuff while you're at the park. Like, what's there to do? What's things to know? We kind of picture it as both a inside and outside of park tool for parents.
Yeah, same here. Like when you described it, I was like, okay, this will be good, like pretty, but it just gets so involved. There's a lot of stuff that we could potentially have this do, which is really cool.
Let's copy one of those styles. Let's do...
Yeah, rating rides, Johnny. That's a good call. Did I see hype? Are we doing a giveaway? Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let's
if you need a break, we can. I see. Oh wait, in 15 minutes, actually, we will do a giveaway, or more like 12 now. So that's what we'll do.
All right, and then let's grab. So I kind of changed my icon set. I know yesterday you guys saw me use Nucleo. I kind of went in here into Orion.
I don't know Orion.
Orion's really cool. What I like about Orion is that it gives you a lot of capability to go modify the icon. So as I bring this back in here, I can click my play button and I can change things like what do my corners and strokes look like. And
that's nice.
Really, really cool.
Oh, wow.
I don't like how it doesn't like integrate. You can't simply drag this in. So I have to like download it, open the SVG, and then copy and paste that into my design. But they're really good quality icons that I think
that's nice. Awesome. You do some tweaking like on the fly before you even download it.
Yeah.
So yeah, in 10 minutes we'll give away some socks that are only slightly worn by Peter, just for one day. We've only had them here a day. It's the second day. They smell fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know how you just like, you're not a big sweater, so this is good. So slightly worn socks, just kidding. Brand new, fresh. That's in 10 minutes. The cookies are ours though. Sorry, man. I've been staring at those and I just want to devour them.
Go for it.
I can't. That's not. I didn't bring enough for the whole class. If you didn't bring enough for everyone, you can hold off.
So now what I'm messing with is like, what if we incorporate, you know, our like videos through these. So what I might do is, let me group this. I'll do something here, and maybe we have like a little side scroll. And so I'll have different videos that, you know, maybe we have like some social influencer partners that come in here and do, you know, our cars experience.
Rocky Rourke, shout out.
Yep.
I like it.
He's got a great YouTube design channel too. You guys should check it out. And so, you know, we can come in here and we can click on those videos and see that. And so maybe if I'm planning my trip the night before, I can see, you know, what that ride is like and see if it's something that we want to go on. So that's really cool. So let's see, what else did we talk about that we missed here?
Yeah, Johnny. Good call. Attaching your own video, your own comments to these rides. Yeah, so Luke Hodson, basically what kind of files can you export? There's a whole export option. Actually, I could probably do this because I will remind you of the challenge going on right now. But let me just open up that file. Essentially, you're exporting PNG files, SVG. We'll dive into all those specifics. I also want to point out something that's pretty new that we did not talk about much, but let me take this. So yeah, let me just switch to my screen real fast. This is pretty new, and again, I'm just on this is the dashboard UI kit, so this gives you a head start if you're participating in the challenge. Last I looked, there was only 1 entry, so your odds are really good, and really this is your last chance to win, and that's going down in 40 minutes. But essentially, yeah, modify this stuff. It's not just like remixing them. Definitely modify them. As far as exporting goes, I could select everything, but File, Export. I can export the selected object, and I can, of course, SVG does not need to, don't need to worry about different versions of that. But for a ping file, I can go for iOS. And it's designed at one time, then it'll export out those different sizes. What I did want to show you is this. So as I dive into this, like I want to export out this asset right over here off to the side. In the layers panel, I can click on pie chart, for instance, and now I've marked all of these for batch export. So I can export out all these assets at once, the ones that I want to choose, and it will kick them out. That's how that works. And let's not forget, by the way, let me show you one last thing, sorry. Right up here, publish design specs. So I would give the developer the assets by exporting them, and then send them a link so they can see the positioning of everything. So that's the way to do it.
So I think there's a better way to lay out kind of what I'm doing now, but for the moment and purposes of this, because I want to get into something else on the app, I'll keep this a little bit more unrefined. But so we'll talk about like ride requirements. We might have things like duration, height requirements, shared vehicle. We'll stop there for the moment. But we kind of get the point across here that we would need information telling you about the ride, so that way parents know if their kid's tall enough and things like that. But I think we've kind of covered some cool stuff for this, and we'll refine this later, and I'll probably come back tomorrow with this a little bit updated. All right.
Somebody said they can't figure out how to modify the pie chart. That's kind of a little bit tricky. But essentially you can make your own layer mask if you're gonna, with your own colors. But it looks like I can't go in and modify those colors either, because they look like they're vector, but it might be a bitmap.
All right, so one thing that we talked about in here, and I'm gonna do the screen because I feel like a lot of people have mentioned it, is they really like this idea of the favorites and like maybe setting up your kind of agenda for the day. So maybe what that might look like. So let's take a screen. Let's go here. I'll just call this my favorites.
Yeah, somebody mentions like ProtoPie and just for prototyping, but essentially prototyping is built into XD. We just haven't gotten into that, just as an FYI.
But we will.
Right, because you haven't linked anything together yet.
Not yet.
Which is fine. Actually, when you don't link things together, if you hit play, you should be able to use your arrow keys and
just
kind of cycle through everything. So
yeah.
like,
but we'll want to like link up things like this in our navigation and clicking on these.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing is that you can, when you do create that prototype, you can come up here. I think it's not this one. This guy, and when you publish that, you can generate the embed code, and then you can go put that like in your portfolio website or on your project, and that is like the coolest thing possible.
Yeah, that is really cool. And we've actually received entries for the challenge. Some people have done that before. Exported out the embed code, put that on a Behance page in a project, and sent us a link to the project, which is super clever because it like gives the. I typically follow the person and appreciate the project, but it's like extra promo for them, so it's a good call. Clever.
So let's look this up. So we might say the name of this right again?
Yeah, what are you using to keep your notes in? The brief? What is that again? It's AI Writer?
IA Writer.
IA Writer.
Yeah, just super basic. I like stuff like that that doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles and just really easy to use.
Yeah.
So let's do this. We'll just come in here, and this is going to be like our favorite screen. And again, I'm kind of like shooting some ideas from the hip here, but wait, let's do this even smarter. Repeat grid.
Do you see that? Did you see that, Kaylee? I'm gonna like, this is the first time you've done this today, and I want to make sure Kaylee, since she's staying at work a little longer to watch, this is pretty fantastic. Like, I want this in everything that I work in, quite frankly.
Yeah, and then you can come in here and adjust the spacing between these. So I've got everything at 16. I'm gonna just tuck that right into place.
Like, any time you do a paste twice, just think about making it a repeat grid, and then you can even break it apart.
Yep.
You know, just I've seen lots of people use it different ways.
We'll go with more of a Disney blue here for like maybe a generic background, or maybe whatever we end up branding this app as. We'll utilize some colors there. But we're gonna come in now, and I'll ungroup this from the grid. I don't need that anymore. So now I've got all of these things here, and actually let's do something here. Removed my tagline, and I want that back. So I want to do the park that this is in. So California Adventure Park, and then here we will have Mike and Sully to the rescue.
To answer your question real fast, if you want to see other, oh, there you go, perfect. Dalmantas, thank you so much, because that's what I was going to say. You look for other examples, you can go to Dribble or Behance. I literally went to Behance, typed in XD to get all those projects.
All right, so I've got that back there. Ungroup my grid.
Miriam, I agree with you. I want every app, Photoshop, Illustrator, all that stuff. And like the notification says, we have a giveaway in 5 minutes. What's that giveaway? Just some very nice socks. Hand stitched by Peter here. This is what he did last night.
Labor of love.
Yes. So nice. 5 minutes. Let's move this out of the way.
All right, so we can see here, I'm gonna drop in some photos.
Hey, Michael Crabtree. Good to have you here, my friend. We invited him into the office. He was sitting in this very same seat. Might have been in the studio, actually. It was downstairs in the studio, but he's a guest with us, so thanks for joining us. And another 30 minutes for the challenge. You can find that in the challenge tab. Dashboard is the challenge. Interpret that how you want. You're given a starter UI kit to get you up and running quickly, because you only have 30 minutes. Awesome. Of course you're using color with intent, as you said. That's the Disney blue, roughly.
Then I think I can come in here. Is it not letting me select them because I have them grouped? Is that my issue? Let's group that.
Kaylee, you have a coding background, so when I design, you design with that in mind? With color in mind? I'm not sure what you mean. All right, looks like somebody has a request for resizing preview with the mouse wheel. If you have a request, and by the way, this isn't, if you go to help down to provide feedback. This is where we want to hear about those requests that you have. And this isn't just, by the way, let me go there one more time. Sorry, it's a little fast. Help. Provide feedback. And you'll see all the feature requests, you know, potentially bugs, but yes, feature requests right here. And this is where you can kind of add your own or see if it's already been requested. But this isn't just some empty site. Like literally, if I scroll through here, Joan Lafferty. Oh, guess what? Yeah, she's right next door. Same level. So she's actually a manager on XD. So we definitely pay attention to these. So feel free to stalk her. It's like the XD team pays attention to this stuff.
All right, and then so what I'm doing here is I want to think a little bit about what would it look like when I edit these items. So in this case, what happens when I maybe want to remove this from my items? So we're going to create kind of like a kind of a swipe to remove. And so let's bring this over maybe kind of to the side. You see this guy here.
Adobe Live says, time to get the hype for a random drawing, which is happening right now. So get that hype going while we make this. And is this to see more, to remove? This is to remove?
This would be to remove the item, yeah.
Cool. So we want to hear you active in the chat. Be like, I love Sully. Peter's a fantastic designer. Go Peter. Just say something. I want some socks. My feet are cold. If I was a Disney princess, I'd be Kylo Ren. Whatever you want to say. That's what Voodoo Val said, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. We had to do some user testing, which is why Peter wore them yesterday. Make sure they were up to snuff. They're good?
Yep.
Good, good. Thanks, Felicia. Sock. You will not only get the left one, but also the right one.
That would be a really weird giveaway.
You win a sock.
We can give this to one person, or we can give it to two, but you only get one sock.
We're like, what's the deal? It's like scraping the barrel. Yes. They could be used as maybe like a sock puppet. And your sock puppet can have a friend, which is the other sock, or you could just use them like a normal person. And it won't be this exact pair, trust me. They will be fresh, and I won't have my fingers all over my little chocolate fingerprints from these candies, because it is Valentine's Day. Maybe I'll sneak a cookie in the package. I don't know if we could do that, but I'll sneak it. Nobody has to know. All right, winding down the GusBot 5000, which is our Adobe Live team comprised of 40 people and a huge steam-powered a robot picks the person. And actually, we have to do a background check and all that good stuff. And it looks like our winner is, thank you so much, everybody, Kevin Schneider. Kevin Snyder. Yay, Kevin. Congratulations, Kevin. You win these fantastic Adobe XD socks. So just say, thank you, I'm still here. So we know you heard us. Kevin Schneider's our winner. Boom. Kevin, do you already have a pair? I wonder.
All right, so we might play with something like this more, but we get the objective here is that I can easily swipe through any of these options and just through my screen. So.
And it looks really good here. Like it's not, I think, you know, through the video feed, it might, you know, red gets a little funky, but it looks fantastic.
It does, yeah. And I tried to like mute that red a little bit. I didn't want to use something like a fire engine red because this is just like screams, even though on the actual device it doesn't look that bad.
Not bad.
But I like to just bring this down a little bit just so it softens it up. And again, probably play with this some more. I think there's some cool ways to do this, but we'll go from there.
All happening right here too. Super cool.
All right, awesome.
The elegant line is showing up. It's not even showing up like again on the through the video feed, but it looks really nice.
Just a little divider.
Is that is fascinating.
That's why it's so different. You really need to see it on your device.
And the Mike and Sully to the rescue, that panel is not darker.
Correct, but what's happening is it's because there's a shadow on this.
Oh, subtle shadow.
Right, which probably, and I probably did this wrong, the right way to have done this would be to go here and then just to keep 16 all the way around, and now that actually solves that problem. So now that looks right, because the shadow is just
I didn't mind. I mean, it kind of messed with my eyes. It was still pretty cool. Yes, Kevin, you've been with us plenty, and I'm really happy that you won Socks, because he's always hanging out, and we really appreciate you, and I'm glad you won. He's been with us a year and a half. This is the first thing he's won. I don't know.
We can even see, too, like what that would look like. I would change the shadow settings, but you know, what would that look like if we just did something on white? Maybe there's outlines instead. But I like the color. I think that makes it more exciting.
Yeah, this is easy on the eyes.
Cool. So let's play around with, I think we've kind of done a lot of visual things here. One of the things that we talked about in this app, let's see, do you guys want to see us build out like the onboarding of adding essentially your family members and that kind of search process, or do we want to maybe do like our user profiles and being able to like add shared users, or like I could connect to my wife's account so that way we can both have our accounts in sync, so we can like book our fast passes, share our notes, and things like that.
I want adding kids.
Let's do that. All right, so I'm gonna copy these boards just so I have them a little bit closer, or the way I usually will design is do this.
Yeah, Kaylee, we will be looking at dashboards soon, so whenever Peter wants to take a break, I'll dive into the entries we have thus far.
Yeah, do we want to do them now, or do we want a couple more come in?
Whenever's good for you. You know, whenever you're kind of like at a lull.
Let's do it.
Just give me 1 second. I will. Thank you so much, Yuzu. Kaylee is asking. I think Kaylee was the one that's like, when are we gonna look at these? Because she entered one, so that's cool. And Mohammed. So we will just review these three really fast. Give me 1 second. Yuzu, Kaylee, Mohammed. All right, while you kind of type in some info, this is Yuzu's. This is this is for the challenge. You can see right over here, challenge tab. This is what we're doing, dashboard. They submitted through this URL. We only have 3 so far. Their odds are looking fantastic. And let's dive into this. So dashboard is the contest. So, oh, this is cool. So from a tech background, an app that kind of tracks server stats. Restart Apache. So again, this is kind of the dashboard details. Analytics. I take it he is working in IT. Click on technical. So again, just kind of getting server status and resetting a server on your mobile device. So cool. Very clean, easy to work with. When a server is down, you don't want to have to deal with ridiculous graphics. You just want to fix it. This might be Kaylee's, I think. Evergreen. Welcome back. Oh, nice transition, by the way. Log in.
Nice.
Nice little dashboard. Nice green colors. Trees planted. So this is a a non-profit environmental dashboard showing volunteers. I like the whole. I'll have to just double check this and like kind of compare it to the UI kit, but this looks good. It's customized. That's really clean. 3 screens. Boom. That's all you need. Let's move on from there. Mohammed's. I wonder where he got this screen. But either way, let's dive into SpotMed. Can't read this, but I'm sure it says, Hey, welcome. Paul, your hair's looking fantastic today. Why, thank you, app. Dive in, log in. Your user there we go. Everybody get his email? Let's move on. Loading preferences into the dashboard. This is fascinating seeing it just in another language.
It is. Well, even little things of, I'm assuming there's a difference too of like reading right to left instead of left to right, because generally in most dashboard designs, you know, it looks like there's a grade rating on the right hand side, which you usually see on the left. There's like an anvil or, you know, like judge hammer or something, gavel on the left hand side, which you know would feel like where you might put a close or add or thing like that. So I'm assuming that this is like a regional or language difference in how this is read. And even little things like you see the caret is on the left hand side rather than the right hand side.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, very cool. Let's actually dive into one of these, I don't know, one of these reports. Obviously says that Peter's performance is outstanding. Oh, it's a performance review. That's what this, he's great at not only designing, but talking through his process. And he'd be a great candidate for any job. But still, like, again, laid out really well. We obviously can't read this, but it makes sense to us.
Yeah.
So, good job, Mohammed. Appreciate you. I think Mohammed is, if this is the right Mohammed, might be someone that actually is pretty consistent and does a fantastic job entering in.
One thing that's really great on this one too, and you can't see it on the feed over here, but there's really good hierarchy in terms of like or visual hierarchy where there's, you know, the gray bar to signify like that's where the title area is, and there's separation in the colors to show the rows and things like that. So really really nice job on this.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how it's coming through, but you are right. It's like we get a clear representation of hierarchy. So good call. Good call, Mohammed. You are the man. So there's 3 entries. We might get a couple more in. In fact, what time is it? You have about 15 minutes. So, and Peter has about 30 minutes.
All right.
To finish the whole thing. Just joking. I should give you. I should be gathering assets for you. I think for tomorrow I can help you kind of gather images.
That sounds great.
Like if you, right now, because you're going to need some. I don't know, user images or something.
Oh, I've got some of that ready to go.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see. Okay. So, my family. Change this belt to white.
Charles, is there an online store where you can buy the Creative Cloud socks? Well, I know for these XD socks you can't buy. Correct me if I'm wrong. You cannot buy these anywhere. They can only be won. So that's pretty cool. And otherwise, I can actually probably drop in a link for the Adobe store, and we can check. There are some Creative Cloud socks out there. So, best thing to do is just join us here and join us in chat, and that's your chance to win. All right, is everybody having a nice Valentine's Day, by the way? Peter, thanks, buddy. Peter's, he's like, rub it in, Paul. My wife and my kids are at home, and I'm here. I'm stuck here with you.
But we're going to Disney.
I bought you a cookie.
You did. No, I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do miss my family very much.
Well, the nice thing is she's like, hey, wife, you can tune in.
Yes.
As if you're not sick of me because I'm with you all the time. You could actually watch me live. That's what, maybe I'm projecting here, but. Amara Bellamy, oh, your dad sent you flowers. That's so nice. I was over in the social media, like where all of our social media people work, and there was a lady that got like 2 boxes of flowers.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, she was like super popular. She was popular, and it was like, oh, that's so nice when 1 box of flowers showed up. And the second, I don't know if she has 2 boyfriends or what the situation is. I think there's a lot of drama on the second floor next door. Actually, one was from her dad. So. I just like the idea of her having 2 boyfriends, and may they never cross paths. That's why I'm single.
So, and then let's do something.
Oh, Zolma, you have rose gold mini ears? How appropriate is that? Valentine's Day, we're making a Disneyland app.
Alright, so let's have this, sort those evenly. Let's get our 3 back lined up, more or less. Alright.
Hey Michael, we're thinking about you, my friend. He's at home, just chilling, watching Adobe live streams. Disney for life.
Disney is awesome. It is fun when you go, and it's like just the coolest experience. 32. Oh, another cool little tip for everybody. So, I think one thing that really separates really good visual design is often just kind of like the flow, the vertical rhythm of everything, and like what your line heights are. And I noticed something in a lot of younger designers is that their line spacing tends to be really, really tight, and it just feels kind of awkward and uncomfortable. So really cool tip. There's some, cool tools that might integrate with what you're using, but if you just type in golden line height into Google, the first result will be this personified.com/typography. And so you can come over here, and so I know, let me change this here.
30, yeah, go ahead.
I know this is going to be 343. Actually, wait, I need minus 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 19, should be right. So I have 319. I want to use a 32 pixel or 32 point font. So I'm going to come over here and say 32. My width is 319, and it'll tell me the recommended like golden ratio line height for this is 43. So when I come over here now, I'll plug this in at 43, and that all of a sudden looks a lot better. I don't like that it's breaking into 3 lines, so I might in this case like bring this down.
Yeah, Mitch, right? I'm captivated by this. Mitch is like, wait, rewind. We'll show you we'll share the URL.
Yeah, so let's try maybe 28. Yeah, let's do that. So I like how that looks now. We'll center that up. And so now I'm going to go 28. Come back here and adjust this.
Thank you,
And now
Mark.
this tells me 38. So I'm going to come back here and I will modify that to 38. And now that feels really good. So like just a cool little tip for you guys. I definitely recommend doing something like that. All right. So
how many kids are you bringing in? Does this include you? Because like I'm also just like a big kid.
That's true. That might be something to think about, though, in terms of like how Disney does brand. Like everybody's kind of a kid.
Oh, yeah.
So
good point.
Maybe instead of how many kids, you say how many.
You could. I don't mean to make it complex, but I see what you're saying.
Exactly.
It's fun.
And then, so I originally had this going like side to side, but
is it then like how many kids do you want to? Because we have some kids that just want to. I don't know. I don't know. This is where I get silly, but yeah, this is good.
So I don't like the amount of kind of like dead space or white space that I have on this page. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna bring this thing up to like, let's say maybe, let's go even higher. Let's go.
How did you get to the screen, by the way?
What do you mean?
Is this the like your entry point? Do you?
Yeah. So what we kind of mapped out yesterday to catch people up is like as you log in, or in this case, like when you create an account, that one of the first things that we're going to do in this onboarding process is find out more information about your family. So how many people you're bringing. And particularly because, let's say in this instance, like the iPhone X screen is so tall, I don't want to do this horizontally. I might do something, and I might make this like obnoxiously large. Let's do something like this. And then I'm going to modify these. And we can even put this up here or something. Let's make it bigger, like this. And then, we can drop this opacity like really low so it's super subtle. Let's do like 16. And then what do we have? 80 to 240. Let's go maybe like 160. That's too high. Maybe 120. 144. Maybe something like that. And that's our 2. Maybe that one's there. Maybe this one goes down to like 8.
Oh, so you're doing a vertical execution?
So maybe we do something like that. And then we can do this the other way as well.
All right, looks like, yeah, we could take a moment to pause to welcome Lindsay Messenger. It's her first time, and she made her very first XD project.
Good job.
Yay! We get to take a look at it. I see it in the list, but just hats off to you, because that's the goal. Is just create and see what happens.
Yeah, so we could do something like that, and then I feel like somewhere we created this guy. So let's come in here. This one. Okay. So grab this, come back over. And this is something I'll do a lot of times. Like I'll generally have paper sketches, like the images of them, or I'll have my wireframes, and I'll tend to design like right directly below it, just so I can continually like reference and see what it is that I'm looking at, and pan through. And I'll do the same things on like desktop app projects. I'll have the desktop version, then I go down to the tablet version, then down to the mobile version, so I can make sure everything's
so yeah, wireframe designs, different size screens. That is cool. I will say though, as an adult without kids that's been to Disneyland, this question doesn't pertain to me. Peter,
that's a good point.
You don't care.
You're
no. Whatever.
I'm trying to think what I'm going to write down there. But that's a really valid point, though. I mean, I know this is being marketed towards parents.
Oh, that's true.
But
that's
like
right.
you said,
that's a good point.
But that's still something to think about. That we want somebody to feel like they could potentially still use this on a day when their kids aren't there. Mm-hmm. But maybe we
because that's a good point to even leverage it though. Is like I want to be able to pick my favorite characters, my favorite things, and serve up that information just like you're doing for the children, which is cool.
Yeah,
that's something that's good.
Yeah, so we might say something instead like, how many people are you bringing on your first visit, or on your visit? So that keeps things a little bit more generic. And then
ooh, how many guests? Oh, Kevin Kilborn nails it. Kevin Kilborn. Have we thought of a name for this app yet?
Nope.
So that's also another thing, is what we name this. And maybe it is just... I don't know. Parents Guide to Disneyland.
Yeah, and so here we get to see... do we want to switch to the GoPro maybe once more?
Oh yeah, can we switch to that? Want to switch to the GoPro? Just let me get this like so. Can I unplug this GoPro? Can I put it up right here?
Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll see what this looks like. Oh yeah.
So what I like with this is that
can we put can we do it like that?
Is that you can just kind of see in your hand. This feels really natural. That I know, and maybe you need to put an indicator, maybe you don't. But here the user can just scroll through. It clearly is keeping all the attention on the current number that they have, but they can see where they maybe started from or what's coming next, so they know that they can advance from there. And then down here, that continue button, I can see that, and that looks really small to me. So I might bump that up a little bit larger, and then seeing where it's at in real time with the home indicator. I just want to knock it up like a couple extra pixels, and I feel like this is really, really clear, really concise. There's not really a way for somebody to mess this up, and then we can move them on to the next part of the process.
Very cool. By the way, I'm flipping through the different screens.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and if you press hold, you can view all of your screens, and then you go browse artboards. and now you can see all of them, so you could skip to a different screen if you wanted as well.
Very nice. Very cool. Looking fantastic. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're getting down to the wire. You have 4 minutes if you're participating in the challenge. So link those screens together. There needs to be 3 artboards linked together. Submit those. A big thank you to Lindsay, of course, our very first one. Yes! Hasham as well. So this is good. This is really, we're only going until 3 p.m. today, Pacific time. So this is your last chance to win until tomorrow. Cool. Mark, you're a good man. He has to dinner time for his daughter. You're a good
priorities. Man. I like those kinds of priorities.
So Ed Van Dyke, by the way. So yeah, we just have the Adobe XD on the mobile app.
Yep.
You should have it connected by USB. Clicks the little button in the upper right, and it's there. Four minutes. Cool.
All right, and so again here, really easy to bring in our graphics. So I've already got some headshots here. So I've got my family, so I can come here and just quickly drop them in. And then we'll want to create some form fields here. So we might we've got kind of this like minimal feel on everything in the app. And so I'm going to come here, I'm going to make this maybe 1 height. And we said what, 319 was our full width. And that gives us the wrong padding. So that should be +8. 7, 8, so 327 it looks like. Okay, and then I want to copy these text styles over. And I really like these push fields, which I know you guys have had Matt D. Smith on before, and he kind of was one of the first folks to really figure this out and do some cool stuff with it. So we might have a name, and then here we would have Kelly, and we'll want this text to be bigger here for this.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so let's see, I want this to be even smaller. That'll be 12. And let's make this a lot bigger. I don't know why that feels so small. Okay, there we go. And then 14 here, and I'll show you guys like how this interaction works and feels. So let's do that. Cool. So we've got this here. Just me being OCD with my spacing. Okay, so we've got name. Then we might have something here like we don't need anybody's age. We don't need to know gender or anything, but we do.
You don't really even need to know their name.
You don't, but I think it gives more context in the app to say like, oh, you know, Thea or Raina enjoys this, and then that also allows us to do push notifications. So maybe we know that Thea really loves the Frozen show, and it's about to go on in 30 minutes. Like maybe it notifies us, or it says like, don't miss this before you go.
That's cool.
So we can do some stuff like that. And how this would look before we've input something is it would look more like this. And then once the, get out of sync there. Once the user inputs information, it pushes upwards, and then that information comes in.
I haven't used the Windows X.
Okay, cool. So then we want to have the ability for them to add like a favorite. So we might do something like, let's say favorite rides, characters, or movies. Okay, and then we'll want to do an interaction for this, that maybe what this does is it pulls all the way up. We do kind of like a push. Get rid of that stuff. Maybe we go up, and we want to give them the ability to search. So I'll go grab one of those icons real quick.
Thank you, everybody, for submitting your entries. That's what I'm looking at. Looks like we got a slew of them in. So we'll need a moment to kind of tackle that, if that works for you, Peter.
Yeah.
Yes, agree, Adobe Live. Good job getting them in, everyone. Fantastic.
I'm good whenever you are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would love to give them time. So let's do this. Kind of diving into these, and again, we kind of went through the first three, did a fantastic job. Next one we have here is bike maintenance. Hopefully everybody's getting a load of that nice gradient. Let's log in. I love the look of it.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think a lot of these details are coming through. There's little dots and stuff. It's kind of just like way cool. So, machine status. We are all up and running. Let's check tire pressure. Fantastic. How are the brakes looking? By the way, when I click right here, we know that we can light up and see the... Look at how many screens that are like hooked up. Yeah. This is amazing. Suspension status, 65%. Lubricant level is good. Fuel status. Distance. It just looks good. Tracking your... Oh no, my bike was stolen. No, it's joking. Where it is. I'm here, my bike's clear over here. Wait a minute, I thought I was in the garage. Service history. This is like, what are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing here. What's my bike doing, you know, half a mile away from me? But what do you think?
I like it. I think one thing that you did really well in this is like really set a tone and theme, especially with a lot of these illustrations. But one thing I would point out here to give you like some constructive criticism is that like how you implemented the UI kit details, it doesn't necessarily match the same visual style that you have in a lot of these illustrations. So like I would take some of the bar charts and like the radius up here that you have, like this is really thick and everything else you have is really thin. And so maybe matching up some of those styles, and that's where you take like that UI kit and you make it your own and you make it match the need that you have.
Yeah. Well, that's good, but I do think it kind of works. Obviously, these are different, but they're different, like, I assume, for a purpose. I do like how the gauge is always going to be in the same spot. So 65%, the brake status, I'm always looking at that same spot for the essential details.
Yep.
But
you know that's where your information lies every time.
Very, very cool bike maintenance. Let's get into cryptocurrency wallet tracker. Wait, where's my cryptocurrency wallet?
Mine's in my bag.
Is it really? Look at you, fancy pants. I'm into it. Checking on LTC transaction history. For this, I'm kind of clicking around. There are 13 screens here, so this is good. Let me go back and just kind of click through some of these. Do I have to scroll down? I'm not sure why. Maybe some of these screens are linked. But still, this is fantastic. Kind of going through. Add a cryptocurrency wallet. Check. It is added. And this is where you do your search. Kind of clear it out. Okay, cool. Good job. Maybe I'm maybe I'm being too rushed. I don't know if all these screens are linked up, but it looks good. Cool. All right, I think this is this Lindsay's? Not sure. Hire me, welcome back. Please log into your account. Oh, I forgot my password though. Let's send that request. Or I can sign up. Look at this fulfillment. Oh yeah, this is Lindsay's. Lindsay Messenger. She's a writer, artist, photographer. Let's dive into, ooh, that's what she did. She did like a press state, which is just different screens. Personal musings, artist. And let me click right up here. How does that, okay, that takes me back as well. Photographer. Cool. It's a nice little dashboard for your website, seeing your content. Hats off to you. She's covered all the fundamentals for XD, and she just picked it up. I don't know if it's just today, but seriously, like, she's covered all her bases. Everything is consistent, you know, all that good stuff. So great job.
Nice.
Personalized, by the way, in the content area. Yep. Let's get into Shred. Very hip, very cool of you to spell it this way, by the way. And I really, even though these are the only colors here, freaking love it. Today's most shared content. Let's take a look. Over 1,600 times this chicken has been this rooster.
This is cool.
What do you think?
I really like how you used the graph to be very intentional. Like, I wasn't sure what this was going to be once we clicked into it, but like, when you're building a product like this, knowing that this is the information that's really important to people, like, I can immediately see here, oh, okay, it was shared on Facebook so many times. The graph is like super front row center, which, you know, if I was somebody like trying to sell a company to use our product, like, this is the kind of stuff that they want to see, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, Lindsay, she said it was so fun. By the way, I do have to say that, like, it's nice when you're just working in an app that just, like, moves fast. Yeah. You get immediate results in XD, which I like.
That's the thing. There's no lag or delay time on anything. Oh,
dude, and
we've got, like, what, 20, 30 screens here already? And, I mean, like, even just this rendering, like, this doesn't happen in other apps.
Yeah, and that will drive you crazy in other apps. Like, I mean, again, whether it's rendering. Okay, I have an account. Let's log in. Here we have our dashboard. Company name. We can see the performance of the company. Looks like we're having a fantastic year, everybody. Everybody's getting bonuses. Dynamic investing. You see this little drop down. This is really nice.
This is really good. I like. It's kind of like a blend here of like a super high fidelity wire, but you've customized all of the graphs and charts here again to be like, this doesn't look like the UI kit to me, but you've utilized all of the elements of it and you've made it your own, which is exactly what you want to do when you have a UI kit.
And there's so much going on here. As I click this, are you seeing this, everyone? I don't know whose this is. I should take a second look. But again, that drop down. I'm just gonna click over here. Looks like I can close that. Opening. Sick. Saving. Save. Exporting.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Right, so I'm gonna click through all these screens, by the way. Like, look at all the content that's active. Let me go back. Oh, here we go. So some of these, so add.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot going on here. So we really appreciate 18 screens, everything being customized, and it was a really nice experience.
Yeah.
Very clean, considering all that data.
Yep.
Kind of nice. Always fresh, just like our Adobe XD socks we're giving away. Oh yeah, let's get some milk, some cheese, get some vegetables. Adding a new product. Yeah, thoughts?
I like it. This is one of those things that, you know, a product should be really simple and easy to use, and I can glance at this and immediately know, you know, what's in my fridge, what do I need to add. We've got statistics over here, so it's giving you a breakdown of what the items are in your fridge. It's a lot of items in your fridge. But this
I'm like, hats off, man. Well played on the sweets.
Yeah.
Well played. I'm into it.
No, this is really good.
That's like this table right now. 90% sweets. But this is good. So great job. I can kind of click through those. Those are just adding additionals. Let's move on. Tenant tracker. Just when you thought you were safe, we are tracking you, John Doe, and your financials, the utilities that you've used. Actually, it looks like I just clicked again. Let me refresh this. Tenant tracker, you log in, financials for each person, and I'm just clicking through each person that way. Yeah, what do you think? Like, this is kind of interesting.
It is. I think the only thing is that that's really difficult for you know, people to see, and it's kind of like confusing that you might have that overlap with things. What I might do instead is just have, like, I would remove the text and things like that, and just, you could have like maybe 2 or 3 layers of like a depth of cards in the background. And then the way I do stuff like that is I would take the square of, say, Anna Banna, and then I would maybe move it up like 8 to 16 pixels above, probably like 8 pixels above, and then I'll shrink it 10%. So that way it's a little bit higher, but it comes in a little bit on the sides.
Yeah.
And so then it feels like on what is it, the Z-axis, that it's a little bit further back. And it just creates like a really nice effect for when you need stuff like that.
Yeah, and you'll need it because it's going to make that real estate smaller. And this is like we're dealing with like 3 units. What if you have a 20-unit property? How much space is that going to take up at the top?
And see how like roommates here like cuts into the main screen that you're seeing. So yeah, you just want to keep that stuff really simple.
This is good though. This is really good, and I like the idea because that would add a whole level of depth to it, which is really, really awesome.
Or maybe you move things off to like the right-hand side, and then the next one slides in from the side, so you kind of like navigate that way.
Yeah, great job. Great job customizing these screens. I think it has all the information you need. So this is Lindsay. Great job. Great job, Lindsay is in the running. Let's dive into Aquarium. Let's log in.
Ooh.
Aquarium, the invoices. Okay, so it's like a number of fish sold, total earnings. I like this little icon. We'll dive into the products that we have. There it is as a whole.
And I like, it's not really coming through on this, but I like the depth that you've used of kind of like that light gray background, but you've pulled in some of that like purple kind of tones into the gray. That way you're kind of pulling from some of the primary colors that you're using on this. It just looks really nice.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, fantastic. The cleanliness and the color choices did a great job. I think that's it for the screens, but yeah, it's fantastic. Super clean. I really like that. Cuesta. A better customer management tool. Got to keep track of them. Let's sign up with Google. So let's dive into my dashboard, which is right here. Let's try to make this a little larger. You can see a lot of information. And of course, it's a dashboard. We've got plenty going on. Check out the customers. Just input new customers through these inputs here. We jump back as well. So cool. Good job. Cuesta. Feel free if you have anything to say. AI-based font mixer.
That's cool.
Drop your file in here. Okay, so let's just go back. Drop your file in here to analyze your font mixin. Uploading it. Recommended for headlines. Recommended for paragraphs. I can see how this could be useful.
Yeah. Gosh, if only we knew some folks at Adobe that could.
I know, right? By the way, on Typekit, so if you're on Typekit, you can sort fonts by what would be good for headlines and paragraphs. And those are I mean this in the kindest way possible. The font nerds, those are all the Typekit guys that really get into those details. But I absolutely love this, so it's cool. All right. So, thank you, Adobe Live, for posting that. Hopefully I've covered them all. Let me know if I didn't. Yeah. That's funny. What the heck happened to me? I'm just getting cookie.
Oh, you've got like sugar all over
cookie
yourself.
Grossness all over me. I can't be let outside at all. All right, nice work, everybody. We need to get these narrowed down. Let me just kind of get the party started, essentially. And as we click through these. Big shout out to Lindsay. Did a fantastic job. I think that looks good. But we kind of need to get these narrowed down. Trying to pick like the best of all these screens. So this one was really cool, considering all the detail. And by the way, look, zoop, like 18 screens.
Yeah.
Not that you can win by volume, but you can't ignore that amount of work that went into this. Really like this. Tracking what's popular. Big shout out to Lindsay Messenger. Her first one as well. Cryptocurrencies, which was cool. 13 screens here. I did not get down to this coin filter. But again, good job there. 13 screens of the stuff like popping up.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, this is Hafid's. Hafid's like won every single prize. He's the guy who just makes you, he's probably the overachiever. He's probably the guy you hate to have in class because like just ruins the curve for everybody else. But he did a fantastic job. Going back earlier to this one and as well as the amount of data in here and all that good stuff. So very cool. And then evergreen. So
I think I've narrowed down a top 3. You?
Oh yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so I think I like the aquarium one, the always fresh, and the stock one. Which one was that? That one. I think those are my top 3.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. I do as well. You are the man. Not that I don't mean to make you the heartbreaker here, but essentially, yeah, these are pretty strong.
So, was there anything just to review the challenge notes? Was there anything else in particular that we needed to do?
No, just to review really fast. Oh, so sorry. I need to go back to that. Oh, sorry. Dashboard, this one. Okay, so, but just kind of compare it to the dashboard, just so we know what's changed. It's a lot of these elements, and they're all pretty generic. So there's lots of blues and bars, and it's all pretty, you know, I mean, you know, just to kind of give you a glimpse of, you know, so there's that.
Awesome.
I feel like this is like a legit project that they're working on, by the way. I feel like he or she is actually making something for work, you know, by the way. So I hope those are billable hours. This one's pretty strong, but I feel like when I add something, what's in my fridge, when I add a new project or product, does that automatically add it to my fridge?
Yeah, I feel like it's a language issue of it should be like add to your cart or something like that. Or it's showing me items that are in my fridge currently, but then like, I'm adding to my fridge. It seems
does it automatically order it? Like I kind of want to know what's ordered and what's actually in my fridge. Yeah. So that's the only thing that's confusing for me there.
Yeah.
This I really love the color of. It's only 3 screens, man, and this would be a stronger contender if there was this kind of more going on. Beautiful though.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, it's definitely customized.
I think I like the stock one, and like I will say though, this screen definitely wins out in terms of aesthetics and everything like that. I feel like it's a little bit closer to the UI kit, and I feel like there's a little bit of inconsistency. I know there's a short time period here, but like this screen I think is absolutely gorgeous. But then the other one has like the full, like this has full gradient view, And it's a lot like harder to read. The information isn't really as absorbable. While the other one, it feels like a blend of high fidelity wireframe to design. It's very consistent. Everything is very functional. So for me as like a product guy, everything about this, like this could operate at the moment, even if it was like a small MVP. So I think this gets my vote.
All right. Well, this is our winner then. Congratulations. This is called, which is called Dashboard Wireframe 123. We will get your name, essentially. If this is yours, just give us a shout out.
It's like Erkin?
Erkins? Fantastic. Erkin Bishinov. Congratulations, Erkin! Yay! Won the last and best prize of the day, even though it's the same as the others. But that is actually, you win Creative Cloud for a year. Hats off to everybody who's entered. Again, super strong pieces in here as well. So that's super cool. And hats off to you, Erkin. There you are. He put the most work into this. 18 screens. Ouch.
Yeah.
We're kind of winding down.
We are.
It's 2:52. We probably have a couple. How many more minutes? 3 minutes. Then we're just gonna gorge ourselves and we're gonna drown our sorrows in candy for Valentine's Day. Claudia Jost is motivated for tomorrow. That's awesome. Thank you, Holly. I think you're right. There's like some awesome submissions today. I'm amazed.
There are.
I'm amazed at what people are able to knock out.
Right? Like it's kind of different. Like I feel like I've scratched the surface at this even in a 2-hour period.
You feel like you wouldn't even. There's no way you'd win the contest.
No. No, you guys are crushing it.
Peter's like, I can't compete with you people. Good thing I'm just gonna be the streamer because I can't compete with you. Dana Pride, appreciate it. Again, there is a recent update to XD. Check that out if you want to. Curious about feature requests. It's under the help menu. And what do we do after the stream? We're gonna eat candy.
Go eat something.
Yeah, just like this stuff. What is this one? Singles Unite.
Okay, so just quick, I mean, we'll touch base more on this tomorrow, but in this instance, I'm creating a screen where as we click into here for favorite rides, characters, or movies, and I should probably add a search icon into that as well. It's basically adding like a popover that's just going to come on top of the screen with a search here, and this is where we will populate some screens. And so
I got another idea for this, by the way. Maybe below that, if that's the search, what if you just what if there's like just a bunch of icons, like a grid of Frozen, like the popular ones are at top, like can you just go through and check based on pictures?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, rather than just like a search. I mean, I think you need the search to filter out like ones that you want. But I think, and like as I'm looking at this too, we could probably do it, I'll keep it white at the moment, but like if we came over here, maybe it's something like this where we grab these guys and before they've typed anything, we get a view more like this.
Okay. A lot of the popular.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe here we have like filter by and it's popular or something.
Yeah.
And then as they type through, and then they can go and select items as they go, or like you said, it's maybe they're squares rather than this full rectangle. And things that we think about in that, like, so this would be kind of like a fork in the road decision that you have to make. So like you mentioned squares. What I like about that idea is that we can get more things on the screen, so we get to see more. However, like when you do UX stuff, you got to devil's advocate yourself and your team. And so in this case, by having it this full width, this really accommodates for perhaps rides with longer names, and so you don't have to truncate things as often.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
I like it. And I like this is such a cliffhanger because I don't know what's going to... I want to ride these rides. Do we get to ride them tomorrow?
Yeah, I wish.
But either way, we're wrapping up. This is day 2 of 3. We have all these on-demand sessions. You can check those out on YouTube. You can watch these later. But join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific. Claude and Mark in the morning. So join us. And Peter, you're not going to escape us either. So day 3 tomorrow, we get to see this all come together as we start to wireframe it.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
Had a great time.
Oh, yeah. We're going to eat some candy now, right?
Yeah. Cookies.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To you, cheers, a cookie.